Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Liam Rose. I'm an author, mentor, life coach, motivational speaker, evangelist, musician, and activist. In this FL20 session, we're going to be making the fifth track for my new album, Spiritual Karma. This track is called Spiritual Actions with Spiritual Karma. So, depending on the spiritual choices and decisions you make within your life, you'll be doing spiritual actions, and those spiritual actions will lead to your spiritual karma. So I wanted to create this track to inspire humanity to take spiritual actions, to learn from the actions you take and understand spiritual choices and decisions you make. And hopefully, by doing spiritual actions, you'll have good spiritual karma. And if you do bad spiritual actions, you'll have bad spiritual karma. So it depends on the spiritual actions. So always make the right decision. Always focus on what's important to you and try your best to make spiritual actions that are good spiritual actions. And that will lead to good spiritual karma. So in this track, we're going to produce an intro, a verse, and an outro. So for this track, the spiritual actions is spiritual karma. I want to make sure the listeners and the viewers really understand the importance of Jesus Christ, Jehovah, Buddha, faith, spirituality, fate, and religion. And remember, your spiritual actions is your spiritual karma. So let's begin with the intro now. So I've upped the tempo to 77, so this beat will be a bit more faster. So let's begin. Okay, so we've done the intro, so I'm going to add it onto playlist now. So I'm going to add it to 20 bars. That's what I've been doing with this album. So next we're going to do the verse drums. Okay, so we're gonna add the drums onto playlist now. I'm gonna add it to 64. Okay, so next we're gonna do the verse melody. So, let's see. Should be a bit powerful. Just adding in the chords. So I'm just going to add the melody onto playlist. I'm going to hear how it sounds. So I'm just going to play it now. Okay, next I'm going to do the verse bass. Normally when I do the bass, I highlight the melody notes. So we're only going to do up until the third bar. So just adding in the notes. So I'm going to cut the bass notes. I'm going to add the bass notes onto the playlist and the pattern. Okay, so next we're going to do the verse piano. So I'm just going to highlight the melody notes and add in some piano notes now. I might actually add like just different notes into the middle of the beat. So okay, so I'm going to copy the piano notes now. I'm going to cut the piano notes and add it into its own pattern. I'm going to lower the piano notes just slightly. And then I'm going to add it onto the playlist. Okay, so next I'm going to do the verse outro. So we're going to have the night drum, the night pad and the drums. So just going to add in a random drum pattern. This brings a unique style to the actual track. So And with the claps, with the crashes, we're just gonna add it on every red thing. So let's hit. So I like how that sounds. I'm gonna add it onto the playlist now. So okay. So we've done the beats, so next we're gonna add in the vocals. So first we're gonna add in spiritual actions, spiritual karma vocals in every third bar. So normally with vocals, you don't have to add vocals into your beats, but I normally do, just a way of bringing more energy to the beats. So it's something I've been doing as a music producer and musician for a long time now. So I always bring like vocals into the beats. So it's just something I like doing as a musician. So okay, so I'm just gonna add in vocals still for the spiritual actions, the spiritual karma. So just adding it on every third bar. Okay, next we're gonna add the spiritual change just before. So how I do my beats nowadays, I do 3 vocals. Before I used to do only 1 or 2, but now I do 3. So which is just the way I produce. So yeah. So we're nearly there now. Okay, so next I'm gonna add in My Life is Like a Story vocal and any gaps in between. So any gaps that I see, I'm gonna add in My Life is Like a Story vocal. Normally I produce in a certain way nowadays, which is normally an intro, a long verse, and then an outro. I find when I produce like that, it makes the workflow quicker. So that's the reason why I do that. Before I used to do intro, verse, chorus, and then verse, chorus, but I just make the beats quite longer, so that's why I choose to do it like that. So, all right, so we've added in the vocals now. So what we're gonna do is play the intro first. So let's play the intro.
My life is like a story. Spiritual change, spiritual actions, spiritual karma. My life is like a story. Spiritual change, spiritual actions, spiritual karma.
Next, we're gonna play the verse.
My life is like a story. Spiritual change, spiritual actions is spiritual karma. My life is like a story. Spiritual change, spiritual actions.
Okay, next we're gonna play the outro.
My life is like a story. Spiritual change, spiritual actions, spiritual karma. My life is like a story. Spiritual change, spiritual actions is spiritual karma. My life is like a story.
Okay, so the beat is done now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna save the MP3 file. Then I saved the zip and the project data and project sounds. So let's just save the project first. So we've saved the project. Now I'm going to save the MP3 file. I've already got a folder for the file already. So that's the end of the track. Thank you for watching.